Welcome to the Young Married and Thriving Community Podcast, where we have real and practical conversations about issues in marriages and relationships. My name is Ifeoluwa Adeyemi, the founder of the YMT community, and I am so excited because today I have an amazing woman as a guest speaker on this talk show. Let me call it a talk show, right? She's such a powerhouse, such a beautiful, beautiful, amazing woman, Mrs. Ayobolu Paul Ajiboye. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this. Thank you so much for dedicating time to bless our community members. Thank you so much, ma. So yet again, we're going to be treating a very, very important topic, and that is married to trauma. Healing and moving past psychological wounds inflicted by broken homes. So trauma is defined as, a distressing or disturbing experience, and, a lot of people that grew up in broken homes just have this emotional wound that they've been nursing for years and end up sort of projecting into their marriages at times. And, there's just so much to unravel mentally with, seeing your parents have issues in their own marriage, and then you're also going into marriage yourself, either as a man or a woman. It's such an emotionally distressing experience, and I believe that it's such an important topic to discuss because, a lot of us are victims, including myself, are victims of the experience from broken homes. Let me just put it that way. So let's get right into it. And I'm trusting that for everyone that is a product of a broken home, that you'd get to learn from this, you'd get to, heal from this conversation, and you get to, just set yourself free from the insights and experiences that will be shared today. So if you are here to click the subscribe button, please click the subscribe button, comment on this video, share to as many loved ones as possible. So, Mrs. Ayobolu, AYB, as a woman who also grew up in a broken home, how have you been able to heal and move past that trauma that was inflicted by some of the experiences you had? This is a very personal topic for me, and I feel we just have to do justice to it. God helping us.
Okay. So, I am the last of 5 children, and the age difference between all of us is at least 3 years.
Okay.
3-4 years. So I am, in fact, the age difference between myself and my elder sister is about, the eldest is about 13 years.
Wow.
Yes. So I didn't experience much of when it was really
happening,
happening and going out. So, but over the years, some of my siblings will come up with stories, things they experienced when they were younger, especially with having our dad and our mom together when they were actively together. And some I don't want to hear because it is really painful. It really gets me emotional, and I would say healing is hard. Healing is difficult because you would get to a point where you feel that you have healed. And then
something happens, or you hear something from your parents, or they report each other. And
and then you're back at that point where you're struggling to, get over whatever is going on between them, or whatever has gone on between them. And it's really hard. And then for me, having a husband who had both parents together made it even, I think it made it even more difficult for me, because he does not understand. He comes and says, okay, babe, when last did you send money to your dad? And I'm like, what's that? If I want to send money, it is because it is not out of any form of obligation or out of any form of duty to him, because
that relationship is not there.
It is not. But for him, it's different because he is from a balanced environment, and he sees it
nurturing home.
Yes. He sees, on my own part, he sees as if I am unforgiving, it's hard, you're being unnecessarily hard. But sometimes I take time to explain to him that, okay, some of these things. In fact, I told him that I do not have very serious memories of my childhood till now. from my, let's say, 5 to 8, I cannot actively remember anything, because till now my mind has a way of dropping some of
suppressing
those,
and
yes,
blocking it out.
some of those memories. So I tend to just press it and then I'm moving on. So that is how it has been for me.
Wow, amazing. I can relate, because I could relate to a lot of things you said, because just as I said earlier on, my parents are also separated. In fact, right at the moment where I wanted to establish the young married and thriving community was when they decided to go their separate ways. You can imagine the level of weight that dropped. And that's after years of back and forth, back and forth. Amazing people. My parents are so kind, loving. They are the best, but separately, individually. Put them together and it's something else. But now they're even friends. Funny enough, now that they separated, they have a much better relationship. But they just could not seem to get along when they were together. There were good times, very good times, but then there were a lot of ups and downs, which really affected, you know, a lot of things. And I just thank God for my views today about marriage, that you can have a working home, you can have you know, a functional marriage, but then there's still that fear that what if I repeat my parents' mistakes? What if I follow the pattern? There's that fear, there's just that nagging, because I'm just being vulnerable, because this is also it's something that I can really relate to. You know, there's just that fear at the back of my mind. Even as I started YMC, because, you know, I have separated parents, and here I am with a community for married people. And, you know, there's just that fear that, what if I also make the same mistake? It's even going to be more dramatic, because I have, an active ministry that I'm running that is about marriage. Although I already made my resolution and I have my answers, but for the viewers' sake, how do you deal with that nagging fear? When you just look at your parents, you see the patterns, and you're like, oh, that won't be me in the future. How do you deal with it?
Okay. So one of the decisions I made before getting married, with the help of God, was I wasn't going to repeat their mistake or their mistakes, especially with my choice of who I was going to marry. And then I think it also put me in a position where I was quick to cite what I didn't want and run from maybe a friendship or a relationship that looked like it was showing, you know,
similar characteristics.
Similar traits, So I was able to decide that, okay, I don't want my children to be in this position that I was before getting married. And I think being exposed to played a very serious role in who I got married to, because as at the time I knew, okay, someone who slaps you in a relationship is a no-no. Someone who shouts you down, a relationship where I cannot hear my opinion, I was not going to do that. A relationship where, okay,
you're manipulative.
So I wasn't the only person the person was saying. In fact, my husband knows
cheating.
that, yes, I had a young doctor, before I decided that I was going to marry my husband, I had a young doctor who was interested, we were close, we were friends, and then I noticed that while we are together, whenever we are together, he picks calls, he tells me about ladies he is friends with, and I'm like, okay, are you going to settle down with this? And the day it came that, Ayobolo, I want to marry you, I was laughing seriously. It was amazing. It was like, why are you laughing? You know, it was really...
But you're the one that knows.
I know what was inside
once bitten, twice shy.
I can't marry you, you know, because I know.
The pattern is already there.
I would not want to make the same mistakes my parents made. And sometimes I think about it, and I am certain that I did not make my choice because I knew better, or I knew much better then, but it was simply because God just helped me. Simply because of that. And I don't think any other thing.
Amazing, amazing. Wow. Being conscious of it, being conscious of making the right decisions. And, you know, looking out for the right partner. And God, I think God is
Yes.
is a critical factor, because sincerely speaking, without God in all this, it can be a very, very difficult
Yes.
experience. And you know, well, still, let me just share a little from my own perspective. You know, we are conversing. So the fear, there was a time that I just had, funny enough, before I got married, I don't know, somehow, maybe if I had that fear at the back of my mind, I probably would not be married by now. Somehow, God just, removed that. There was no fears at that time. But
Okay.
after I got married was when I knew that, oh, I'm in a
Yeah.
marriage, and there's a possibility that
Some
something
things
can go wrong.
Yeah.
And, when those thoughts came, I just had to back it up with, I assured myself that, one, you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
You have to be committed. You have to ensure that, I think studying patterns is
Yeah,
very, very
also,
important,
it
so
also
that
helps,
you are
yes,
conscious and you don't make
to
the
repeat the
same
same
mistakes. And, and prayer too. I think prayer really helped with the fear, because, with the fear, when you are actively doing something right and you have prayers to back it up,
Yes.
I think that
It makes
that's
it much more easier.
And then I think it's very important not to capitalize on the fear too. Because at times, fear can be some level
Actually.
of slavery, because once you keep subjecting yourself to that thought that, oh, my parents' marriage did not work, oh, yeah, Risika's marriage also did not work, this one's marriage did not work. I think, you mentioned it, exposure. I think exposing yourself to the beautiful sides of marriages, while still being aware of the negative ones,
sides of it.
I think it balances it out, and it makes, suppresses the fear. Totally. Amazing. I'm enjoying the conversation already. Thank you so much for that beautiful insight. God bless you, man. So there's another question I would like to ask, and that is projections. There are times, as it happens to you, that there are times you have conversations with your husband, or maybe you have a little disagreements, and you're already saying like, this was the same way my daddy did, though. This was the same way I saw my mommy behaving. Or you catch yourself doing some things that probably your mom was doing, and in the wrong side. And you're like, you're just projecting on your own marriage. You're just projecting. How can we manage that? How do you ensure that it does not affect your home?
I had a friend before I left the university. And over time, I kept, in the course of conversation, I tell him about my dad being this and that and that. And one of those is, I said, you have to stop being a victim, that you're already giving this victim mentality, that you have to stop. And then in marriage, I saw it, and I saw that it came from my mom, because, struggling with all she had to go through, there is this victim mentality that, you cannot stand up for yourself and be able to speak and defend yourself. And then I noticed that when I got married, I had similar traits. And we will have issues that we can trash
and clear it at once.
Yes, and then I'll start feeling as if, okay, it's because of this, it's because of that. And my husband said, why are you behaving like a victim? The day he said it was the last time I allowed him to even say it, because I had to consciously work on myself. I told him, I said, I'm not a victim. You know where you met me. You know that it is not from trying to help me. We met ourselves. And so I am not a victim. And that was the last. So whenever I'm tempted to feel as if, okay,
is it because I'm from a broken home?
Because of my own, I have to quickly close that thought. Yes, that I am not disadvantaged.
Yes, you are not.
My mother's choices would not automatically affect me. I am an individual. I'm a complete individual on my own, capable of
with
making
different choices.
Choices. So, and that was how I was able to, get done with that. And today, even when we have issues, before he gets to that point,
it's clear everything. Amazing. So your parents' mistakes does not define you. Your parents' failed marriages does not define your own marriage. You just have to actively work on yours and ensure that you are bettering yourself. You are not repeating the same mistakes. You are conscious of the patterns. and you do better. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'll just like you to share a practical example of when you actually struggled with some of the, baggages, because I feel there's just that emotional baggage, emotional trauma that everyone from a broken home carries, whether they consciously admit it or not. There's just, because now that we are raising nurturing and lovely environments for our children,
Yes.
we can clearly see the difference.
Yes.
And we know that somehow we were robbed of some things in our childhood. I
Yeah.
remember
Oh.
there was a time, it's so emotional for me because, there are points, my father, very loving man, kind, till today, he's like a mother, very, very amazing man. And my mom, this bubbly mom, you can vibe, have fun, such an amazing woman. But then I remember that probably that is why God laid the foundation of this community in my, because even what I'm doing now, I started doing it from a very young age. I remember that there were times they had arguments and I will now call them. I had a book that I was reading then. I will now say, Daddy and Mommy, I want to counsel you. It was that difficult for me as a child. And, some mornings I'll sit them down. Oh, yeah, talk about this topic. Oh, how can you balance? I was still probably in the university, probably 200 level. Imagine a young lady, subjecting herself to that. I even remember a very big fight they had one time. And the only thing that came to my mind as a child, I was still younger, probably in junior secondary school, and I went to get their rings. I said, look at your rings. Why are you fighting? Why are you fighting? If you know this is how you'll be fighting, why did you not marry each other with this ring? That memory is engraved in my brain. And, I realized that some of those things, really, I'm getting a bit emotional. I realized that some of those things followed me into adulthood. And my husband and I hardly have disagreements because we communicate a lot. We've talked about everything even before it happens. But on days where we have little misunderstandings, and I'm just having that emotional distress that God, I beg. And then there's pattern, my grandmom, my mom, what is going on? And I'm already not seeing that fear, and there's just that thoughts. But to the glory of God, I can speak actively on the topic because I've been able to overcome it. But then, was there any time you had to mentally struggle, like really, really struggle? I want you to share a practical example from your childhood, how it's translated into your marriage, and how you were able to just move on and resolve it.
Okay, so well, I feel that one of the things I really lacked from childhood till when I got a bit older was the financial aspect of whatever was going on between them. Because my dad, being my dad, did not take one single financial responsibility for any child. So it wasn't just emotional, it was physical, it was spiritual, it was financial, it was all round.
Wow.
Apart from the fact that it wasn't present, the financial aspect was also, very, very lacking. It was a struggle. And knowing that my mom has 5 children, the struggle was real. I remember that they told me, at least, and then I think I can still remember a little, that for about a term or two, my sister and I, my immediate elder sister, we were at home. We couldn't go to school because my mom just couldn't afford to
pay the fees.
And then, we had to we were just walking around till she was able to put money together, and then we went back to school. And then even with that, she refused that we were not going to attend public primary schools.
Wow.
She did not agree. So even after the whole term, we went back to school, joined the same class. And continued.
Had to catch up.
And then at the time that I was going to enter the university, I had waited at home for about 2 years without getting admission. My results, good.
Very good.
JAMB, nice. But the year I got admission, At the point of paying school fees, my mom ran everywhere. She entered everywhere she could enter and nothing came out. And it felt as if what happened about 10, 15 years ago was going to happen again. It was really hard for me, knowing that I had been at home. I had, automatically jammed. Whether or not you pass the last one,
you will
you would
still
have to
write
write
it
it
again.
And I had to go back. And like, God, if you don't help, it is my father is alive, but he's alive. There is no effort to show for it. And then in the midst of the tears, the pain, the struggles, a friend came and said, babe, that my dad pays for people, especially if he feels you are
struggling.
brilliant and.
Oh, okay.
So I went to meet him. I said, I got admission to study law. We have finished the process of remitting school fees. And he said, how much is it? I said, 30, I think maybe 31,500.
Wow.
And he said, okay, that my accountant will follow you and sort everything. His accountant followed me. As at the time we're paying with e-transact, very difficult process of payments, yes. The accountant stayed till it was the last day of registration, the last day of payment. The accountant came, paid, and I was registered. And till today, at the point of trying to let go of issues, situations like this come up in my heart, and sometimes it's painful. Sometimes I'm like, I have handed my pains to God, but then it comes and you're emotional, it's hard.
Like I didn't have to go through that.
Yes, I didn't.
It was, you had no fault, you had no business in it,
it
but
was
it
not
still
my business. It
affected you.
Yes, it was just their choices. So I feel that it could be avoided. And then maybe I do not have any active speaking arrangement with my father. Even when he's around, whenever he comes around, I can't say, sir, good morning, sir, good morning. That's all. So, if you will not talk to your wife, what do you want to say to me? And then, so I think my own experience might be a bit different from yours because your father was actively present.
Yes.
But for mine, yes, mine was never present. On sick days, on days that I wouldn't sleep at night, on days that you're emotional and you need
no one to fill that void.
It was my mom all through.
Wow.
When I was younger, after growing, even in marriage, it was my mom. Even in the course of getting married, my dad does not get involved in
the planning, the preparation.
It is your business. So
wow, that's a lot to unravel. And it leads me to ask that, because a lot of people from broken homes have resentment towards their parents. Either they were guilty or they were not guilty, because there are some cases where they just have differences that they've tried to resolve. They just could not resolve it, and they just have to go their separate ways. And there are some that they were actively terrible partners to one another, and like regardless of the case, at times the product of the marriage, the children, nurse this resentment towards their parents. And I think one of the ways to heal completely and not allow it to translate into your own marriage or affect your own marriage is to let go and forgive. But then it's very difficult, especially in cases like yours. I have another person too that has a very similar story. The father was not present, but that one, I think it would just be the school fees. Nothing, there was it was still like they did not have a father, and that can still be difficult. What about abusive parents, that would beat and beat and beat both the husband, because we have women that abuse their husbands. That will beat both the husbands, beat the children, the men that will beat the wife, and there's just a lot of screaming, turmoil, terrible things in the house, and even though they've moved on, they're still holding on to that resentment. They're still holding on to that, trauma, the bitterness, and that this man, you fathered me, you this woman, you nurtured me, you were my mom, or you are my mom, but I still do not want you near me. I hate you. Bitterness. They just hate one another. They just don't want anything to do with one another. How can such people? Because I feel letting go is one of the best advices or best things
for moving on, even for your own sake.
Just how can they actually truly let go of the resentment and bitterness? and even all the negative memories, the negative this thing from the childhood
so I am
experience.
not certain the negative memories can totally go. Because especially if you have them in your formative years, I am not sure they can. You can totally let go of those memories. But I believe that the place of Christianity does a lot of things. Coming to being able to forgive, because knowing that, humanly speaking, by our human nature, we will not forgive. We will not let go. But part time, when I find myself struggling, when I find myself battling with pain and the struggles of the memories, my childhood memories, I go to God. You have to make so. I tell him, when these memories come, I don't want to feel pain, because even the pain is not helping me. I don't want
It's
to
just
feel
adding another
yes.
baggage.
So I don't want to feel the pain. The memories can come. You might not be able to let go of the memories, but let me not feel the pain
That is attached to the
memory.
memory.
So,
and then the forgiveness part.
Yes.
How do you, have you been able to forgive your dad?
So I think I have, but I still cannot get to the place of having a relationship. Knowing that, so you know that for you to be able to totally forgive someone, it has to come from the place of remorse on the other side. It is important. I feel it is important that the person I am forgiving is remorseful.
But then in cases where that is absent,
it is even
you might
hard.
just...
It is harder.
You just have to forgive anyway.
Yes, it is harder.
So, but it's just much more difficult.
Yes. So I feel I have been able to come to a place of forgiveness because God helps me. For every time I am struggling again, I go back. I am back, I am struggling, and only you can help me. And
so it's a continuous process.
Yes, it is a
you keep
continuous
forgiving.
process.
When they hurt you, you just
It
forgive
is a
again.
continuous process.
Wow, that is
so. For resentment, I don't know. I feel it is still the same process with being able to forgive. My mom comes and then she tells you, just old people, they tend to reminisce and talk, and sometimes I'm like, Mom, please, I don't want to hear, because
this that you said brought a very key memory. Sorry to cut you short, but there are times that my mom would call. I was away, probably serving or in school. They would call. This one will report the other one. The other one too will call. You that you are the child, you now be the one in the middle.
Settling
you know. And there are times you just be like, this thing you people are even fighting about can make sense now. Can't you people just let go? Why are you behaving like children? You know, you would almost want to be like, if you were younger than me, I suppose flog you. Have you never felt that way? It gets so terrible at times, and it's just something we have to let go. That's sincerely what I believe. It's just something we have to let go, and just like you have said, expose yourself to better marriages. Have a better lens view of what marriage should be, and not what you experienced on your parents' end. And I think we're already coming to the end of this session, but I think you should just give key insights. Speak to our viewers, people that are in that category that have not let go up until this point, or that are planning to, because we have matured singles in the community that are planning to get married but still battling with dropping the baggage. So just key words of advice.
Okay. So I feel letting go really helps you with your choice of partner, because I have examples around me. Some of my siblings are in active struggle with repeating the same mistakes. So I believe that before getting to that point of marriage, or getting to that place where you feel you are good enough to get married, make sure you heal, make sure you let go, and make sure you are looking out for the right person, for a good person, most importantly, a kind person, who will not put you through what
same experience
your parents went through. I believe that I'm here because my husband had a balanced upbringing, balanced parents, good. So I watch him make sacrifices now, and I am amazed with the way he is with the boys.
And you're even able to learn from
Yes,
it.
with the way he handles the boys, with the way he holds the girl, my baby girl, as the most important, very important, special. He tells her how you are beautiful, you are special, you
So
are.
you also learn how to
Yes,
love
to
all the
love
things you
myself and then
lacked.
being able to love the children too. So I believe that the kind of partner you would marry would also help
Help
you
in the
get
healing
over
process.
what you went through as a child. And I think majorly, and then hold on to God, because you couldn't have gone through all that and not have this place where you can run to him at every point to say, okay, this is what is touching my heart, is burdening my heart. I can unburden here. I believe that God is such an unbiased father. I can pour everything, even my faults, my weaknesses, my pains, my struggles, and then I can get comforted. You get comforted, you get to drop baggages, you get to stand up and continue to move again. So
Amazing. That was so beautiful. I feel blessed. I also feel a level of ease again in my spirit, because it's a continuous process,
yes,
just like you said,
is.
because there are times that the devil will just keep reminding you of your foundation.
Yes.
The devil can just keep reminding you, oh, you were matter, right? You think your own marriage will be special. You think no, you can have the best of the best marriages, even if you are from a broken home. You can have. And I think another thing I would like to add to what you said is, don't let whatever baggage that is in your past,
Yes.
don't let it be on your head. And don't let anyone put you in the middle of their issues. Because I remember having to actively tell them that whatever your issues are, I don't want to hear it anymore. Because the more you keep exposing yourself to some of those things, the more you start to have a warped view of what marriage should be.
Yeah.
So, just like we established earlier on, expose yourself to the right kind of marriages. And forgiving, we can't overemphasize it. I still have very good relationship with them. Best parents, just not the best together, And we can, because there's still a place of honoring your parents and doing your bit as a child, because you just have to. So just let go of. I think what really worked for me is that I learned that whatever transpired between them had nothing to do with me. It might have affected me, but it had nothing to do with me, and I need to detach myself from that. When there were a series of meetings, I'll call them. I just had to detach that. See, at times you just have to know that the battle has been lost. If God brings them together, now they are friends, they are doing fantastic. If they decide to come back together, all well and dandy. But then a lot of us have this urge to fix
what is broken,
and you end up,
being too involved, being too invested.
Yes, carrying yourself emotionally, because one of the things I struggled with was after some of those conversations, they will make up, be good, then the cycle get repeated again. As a child, that I would visit my friends, I would see the way their parents were. It was a struggle for me. So I think detaching too might really, really, really help. So thank you so much, AYB, for sharing. This was such an emotionally easing, I don't know if there's a word, conversation like that. And thank you so much. I'm sure some of the people that can relate to this topic can. And okay, the only last thing that dropped in my mind before we wrap up the episode is that in cases of domestic violence, if you had abusive parents, please ensure you don't repeat the same pattern. That one you have to actively work against, because statistics shows that you are bound to even eat, especially for men, you are bound to eat your spouse if your father was eating your mom. So it's something you have to actively work against. If you have to go to therapy, go for therapy. If you have to go for, speak out, get help, just renew your mind, expose. If you have to leave that environment entirely, do what would, transform you, renew you, and make you a wholesome human being. And it's very important to experience good and nurturing homes. So I think one of the things that gave me a better idea of marriages was I was able to visit a few of my friends, and I saw how well their parents were, you know, how well their marriage was. So I trust that God will help every single person that has gone through emotional trauma, and you know they are now in that phase actively trying to heal. So we have come to the end of this episode. If you have been blessed by this episode, please like, share, forward to as many people as possible. And if you are currently struggling in your own marriage, repeating the same pattern, please get help. Please get help. It is very, very important. Thank you for watching this episode. See you next time. Bye.